Okay, now.
Hello everybody! Lily and I just got done with yoga, so I'm actually I'm just really calm. So if it seems like I'm tired, it's not really tired, it's just really calm and peaceful. It's a good feeling. Didn't get a lot of sleep this week. It was crazy. We went from the Christmas break, we were staying up so late, and then we didn't transition well post-break, and we've not been getting enough sleep, and started feeling it. Yoga was such a joy this morning. I was thinking during yoga, you think a lot, and people probably think it's funny that I do yoga because I'm like this, meat eater, and I got the beard, and I lift heavy, but yoga for me makes me flexy. It also the deep breathing really calms me, and I think it builds my immune system, and then I meditate. I think about a lot of different things, and what I was thinking about today is how everyone is they're so conditioned their entire lives to be pushing other people's agendas, and they do so at the cost of their own personal peace. And so I was thinking of, in my own life, instances where I have done that, where I've fallen victim to pushing another person or another corporation or another institution's agenda at the sake of my own personal peace and well-being. And I was thinking about how I see that all over America right now. I see people who are pushing someone else's agenda, and it's costing them greatly, and they don't realize it. And some of them have been doing it for heavily for the last couple months, and some of them have been doing it heavily for the last year, and some of them it's been several years. And I just have to tell you that I've been there. I remember, for instance, we'll talk politics first. You guys know me. I'm never afraid to talk politics. I'm never afraid to talk about religion. I'm not afraid to talk about sexual abuse. There's so many things that I think need to be aired out. And I never take a hard political stance because it's not my game. But I remember back when I was Mormon, Mitt Romney had the opportunity to become the President of the United States. I think that was about 2012. Maybe it was 2000. I think it was 2012. But anyway, I really thought that I needed to do everything in my power and use all my influence and every waking moment, being aware of what was going on, being aware of all the different news flashes, so that I was empowered and I had this evidence that I could then take to my peers and really influence them, because I really believed at a heart level, I believed that it was destiny and it was necessary, and he had to be the President of the United States, otherwise all would be lost. And I really thought he was going to win. In fact, I up until the moment that he gave a concession speech, I was completely consumed by it all. And when he lost, I remember just feeling this devastation. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, the American people, they're so stupid. How could they be so blind and so stupid? And I just remember it was just this horrible, horrible time for me. I was suffering badly. On a personal level, I was suffering. Well, at some point, I had to accept what is, and I had to move on from that. And, come to find out that everything was okay. Life would go on as normal for me, and all that stress and all that anguish and all the political debating and the battling and everything, did it help? Not really. It just cost me greatly. Cost me my time, cost me my peace, my well-being, probably cost me some friendships. that's sad. That's why I didn't get involved this go around. And you might say, well, there's worthy causes and you have to get involved and shame on you. And you know, I have my causes. You can't tell me what's my cause. You don't have the right to tell me what's important to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, I have post-religious causes. I have children's sexual abuse causes. I've got other causes. Like, I really want people to start to recognize cult-like behavior in all different institutions, and that stuff has to go away, and it has to be controlled, and people are taking advantage of people for the sake of money and power. These are my causes, and I do focus on those causes. Don't tell me that I'm not, you know, a good person, or that I don't care just because I'm not focused on what you perceive as your cause, when most likely your cause is what you've been told is a cause. My causes are all born of personal experience. And I think that this world would be a pretty incredible place. It's like my wife said. My wife said, so-and-so wants us to get involved in this cause or that cause. Well, she says, you know what? We can't be involved in all causes, but if everybody would just grab hold of what they're personally passionate about based on their own personal experience, now we'll all be involved in all kinds of different causes and the world will improve. So with that said, I'm going to challenge all of you guys, political. You guys are wrapped up in all this political mess, and we just had the thing at the Capitol, and I haven't been watching it all. I've only caught bits and pieces by intent. I don't want to know everything that's going on because it's ugly, and I don't believe it's actually necessary. Now that's not taking a side. That's me saying this is ugly, and we can do better. But I just want to challenge you now. We still have cell service right here. I usually drop it. We're still live. Let's move on now. I'm not doing this on behalf of any political party. What I'm saying is, I have personal friends of mine that are absolutely consumed with conspiracy theories. They're consumed with politics. I actually have friends of mine who still, to this day, believe that Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States. And I've got to challenge you on that now. I'm not taking sides, and I never took a side. Most of you probably know which side I would be on, but it doesn't matter now, does it? Because it's over. And you're going to tell me that Donald Trump is still going to be president of the United States? Well, he's not. And I want you to take that, and I don't want you to pivot. I don't want you to do mental gymnastics. I don't want you to listen to other people as they give you all kinds of explanations of what's going to happen conspiracy-wise moving forward. I want you to take the fact that you were wrong and own the fact that you were wrong. And not that I'm saying, you were wrong, but what I'm saying is, cut it out. Let's move forward now. Let's be abundant. Let's focus on growth. Let's focus on what we can change moving forward within our own sphere. And, you know, you don't realize, we talk about the government having so much power. Well, when they can take over and hijack your entire life to the point where it's compromising your friendships with people you've been friends with your whole life, compromising your relationships with your own children or your own parents, when it gets like that, guess what? You're wrong. You're wrong. They own you. They own you. You're owned by them. How does that feel? And if you don't cut it out, I'm going to tell you something. Your life's going to fall apart. I know your life will fall apart if you keep staying in that space of negativity, of criticism, of constantly bashing and debating. How do I know? Because I just lived it. I only broke out of that garbage. 6 months ago, I had a full-blown mental, physical, emotional health crisis. And I had to stop. And I was fighting my war, fighting for 2 straight years. And you know what? It was costing me. It came at the expense of my own personal well-being and the peace in my home, relationships of really close family members and friends that I've had all my life. That's not well-being. That's not living. That's gross. So that's my challenge around that. It's time to move on and get focused on growth, positivity. Focus on your own personal causes within your own sphere and make a difference where you really can. Watching the news all day and bitching online is not making a difference. I don't care what you think. You think you're freeing people that are involved in all kinds of sex abuse and sex trafficking by constantly publishing news pieces all day on the internet? You think you're making a difference? I'm sorry. I don't know if I believe that. Get involved in a local charity and really work with people who are victims of that, survivors of that. Get a hold of them, love on them, one or two even. You'll make more of a difference than posting all that garbage online. A lot of it's not even real news. With all that said, guys, are we secure within ourselves? It's time to find that. It's time to find what really drives us personally. My religion or my past religion doesn't know what motivates me. They don't know me. Guess what? The news, the politics, they don't know you. They don't know you, and they genuinely probably don't care about us. So it's time to worry about your family. It's time to focus on yourself. It's time to really focus on growth and positivity. It's time to focus on getting in touch with your own soul, your own intuition, getting in tune. This is where real growth comes from, I can promise you. Nobody should be dictating to you what you should do. Nobody. You have to find your way. You have to feel your way. You have to feel what's right for you. And if other people don't like what is the real you, you got to let that slide. That's okay. That's on them. That's not on you. In my professional life, what I found is that the direction that, other people who you could say were, some might say they were commissioned over me. Not really. I mean, I'm an independent, but I have to ask myself, is that the direction that I would choose? See, in my professional life, I actually believe I want to empower people to understand what's causing the problems, what's causing the pain, what's causing the anguish, what's causing the disharmony, what's causing the ill health. And if I can really get to the core of that and teach them how to become empowered around those things, the underlying cause, now this is where legitimate, genuine growth comes from. You're never going to discover true health and well-being by taking a pill. You're never going to discover true health and well-being by just drinking a drink. It doesn't work like that. You've got to look at the overall picture. Human health it's far more complex than that. So for me, I have to find what works for me, you see? What works for my identity? What works for my intuition? What can I go to bed feeling good about? What can I wake up feeling excited about? And if I don't have that, I'm not helping anybody in this world. And if I fake that, if I fake what I'm not, I'm a cheater. I'm a liar. I'm disingenuous. It's gross. I don't like it. I won't do that anymore. Not for money, not for anybody. I won't do it. So find yourself. It's time. Find yourself around all these things and start to go back to those relationships that really are important. It's funny, we say don't talk about religion and don't talk about politics. I can see why. Because it becomes about being right, doesn't it? It just becomes about who's right and who's wrong. And you can't let it go. You'll never let it go. And you'll make all the excuses in the world when you lose. And you'll make all the excuses in the world when you fail. You'll make all the excuses in the world when you're wrong. It's time to be better than that. It's actually time to be a more mature, more intelligent, more true person. That's where I want to operate myself. My well-being and that for my family is all that matters now. Now, if you say, well, don't other people matter? Yeah, but guess what? If I'm in my true space, I'll help other people. When I'm not in my true space, my intuitive space, I'm a fake, I'm a phony, I'm a fraud. Might make some money, but it's gross. It's gross, it's disgusting, how people do it. It's gross because they're disingenuous and money serves them. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. This is what went through my mind and my heart while I did yoga with Lily this morning. And I want to challenge you to get out in nature if you haven't. I want to challenge you to take control of your health. It's the most critical thing. The common denominator of your well-being is not a pill and it's not a drink. It's actually what you put in your body and your mind and your soul every day. Do you feed it garbage? Do you feed it all the culprit foods? Do you feed it all the toxic garbage that we weren't even meant to eat? Do you feed your mind toxicity like the news media and all of this garbage and politics? And do you let them take control and hijack your life? Can you stop? I commissioned my friend Bob Seavright, who I'm going to have on my call tomorrow night if you want to join. I commissioned Bob and I said, Bob, stop watching all that garbage. I said, I stopped watching the news. I can't do it anymore. Bob only watched the news 2 times in the last 65 days. He said he used to watch CNBC all day, every day, constantly. It was one of them. And now he says he has his well-being. He has his well-being back. He reclaimed his life. Well, what are you feeding the brain? What are you feeding the soul? What are you feeding the physical body? This is what really matters. I hope you'll start to take it very, the word isn't serious. Got to start to listen. And sometimes they're in a coma. They're in a coma because everything they're eating, and they're in a coma because everything they're ingesting mentally and everything they're reading and listening to and being told by others. Guys, break free. Get it all out. Just let it all go. You're probably going to have some detox symptoms. Mentally too. It's time. All right, I love you guys. Bye-bye.